Hi, welcome to AI Automation with n8n. In this video, let's see how to create a mini workflow with two nodes using n8n. In this automation, we are going to build a small workflow that fetches 10 articles from a social news website called Hacker News about AI automation. These are the sequence of steps that we will follow to create this mini workflow. The first one will be to create a manual trigger and to add a Hacker News node and configuring the Hacker News node, followed by the workflow execution and saving the workflow. So without any further ado, let's get started. This is our n8n interface. So let's click on create workflow to create our first workflow. Canvas is loading. So this is our canvas where will be creating our first workflow. To start off with, our first step is to create a manual trigger node. So we will pull in this trigger manually node. Now this will act as our entry point into the workflow, and then with the execute workflow button, we will be able to trigger the manual workflow. Our next node is fetching the Hacker News articles. So this can be done to add another node. Either we can press here, which will open up the panel nodes panel, or we can also click the plus sign here, which will open up the same nodes panel. So let's check for the Hacker News node. We have a Hacker News node. If we click on that, we see that there are three different actions that are available. Because we are going to get 10 articles, let's use get many items. So when any node gets pulled into the canvas, the configuration of the node automatically opens up like this. So we'll get in here. Before that, let's go back to canvas and see how this looks like. So we got our second node. We are going to connect both the nodes, and our next step is to configure this node. So let's double click on this, and then again the configuration panel has opened. The configuration has got two tabs. One is the parameters and the other is the settings. So this parameters will help you to refine any of the inputs that you would want to pass on to this node for the functionality of this node. And settings is more to do with the design and the look and feel of this node on the canvas. So for now, let us configure the parameters. So now the resources, or we are going to use all the resources. So let it be as is. And the operation we want is get many. And the limit, as we want only 10 articles, let us put the limit as 10. And we are also very specific that the workflow should fetch the articles based on the keywords AI automation. So let's use the keyword AI automation. Okay, now we have configured our parameters that are needed for us. And let's go to settings. There is nothing much that we would want to change except let us add a note on this node, which is like Hacker News node. And let's go back. Now that we have configured the parameters and settings, let's go back to the canvas. Okay, now this is how you see here the node name has changed. So now this is our two-step, two-node mini workflow. And now the final step, the fourth step is to execute this workflow. And we also said the manual trigger works when we use this button, execute workflow. So let's say execute workflow. Let's see what happens. We see that the first node got executed, second node also got executed, the workflow executed successfully. We see this log here, and we also see these two green tick marks followed by this green outline, which is showing that there is no problem with this workflow. Okay, let us see the output. We also see that there are, as per our requirement, we have fetched the 10 nodes. Let us open this workflow. We also see that output here, but let us open this node and see how the output looks like. Now this is the, we saw the same parameters and settings, the configuration of this node, right? And now because the node got executed, we have this output also updated. You see that tick mark here, and then it is showing you the limit of 10 has reached because this is what was our configuration. And yeah, this icon shows, this information shows the execution status and along with the time and date and number of seconds it took to execute this workflow. And the output gets displayed in three different formats. The first one is schema and the table format as well, and also the JSON format. So if you just go back and then for simplicity see the look at the table format, as per our workflow scenario, we were supposed to get fetch 10 articles on A automation. You see, it has fetched an article from MCV. This is the title. It has fetched from Medium. This is the name of the article. One from n8n as well. This is the name of the article. So these are 10 different articles that have been fetched as part of the workflow. And this is what was the intent of this mini workflow. So let's go back to the canvas. So now that we have successfully executed our workflow as mini workflow, and by using this execution tab, we will be able to see how many times the workflow has been executed. And by default, the execution is already saved. So in this A automation of just with two nodes, we saw how we can fetch records from a Hacker News website. That's it for today. I would highly recommend use the link in the description to start exploring n8n on your own by creating this workflow. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.